beginning it was only Sat. Only Brahman existed. There was no creation. Brahman's inherent power Maya was in an unmanifested state. Later, Brahman along with Maya decided to manifest, and Maya manifested as this different forms, and it had different names. So this whole creation is the manifestation of Maya. Maya alone is inert, but when it is with Brahman, Maya becomes conscious. Maya has three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. One of the first evolutes of Maya was the Sukshma Bhutas, that is the subtle elements, which is otherwise known as the Tanmatras. It came from the Tamo Guna of Maya. The Sukshma Bhutas, they undergo a process called Trivitkarana to become Sthula Bhutas. Chandogya Upanishad very well explains about this transformation. These Sukshma Bhutas undergo a process called Trivitkarana, that is the subtle elements or Tanmatras. It undergoes a process called Trivitkarana to become gross elements or the Sthula Bhutas. Chandogya Upanishad explains about the transformation of three elements, that is the Agni fire element, Apa water element and Prithvi matter element. What the process of Trivitkarana says is, half the portion of Agni combines with 1/4 portion of Apa water and 1/4 portion of Prithvi to form the gross Agni. And half the portion of Apa water combines with 1/4 portion of Agni and 1/4 portion of Prithvi to form gross water element. And half the portion of Prithvi matter element combines with 1/4 portion of Agni and 1/4 portion of Apa to form the gross Prithvi element. The subtlest form of these elements, the subtle Sukshma Bhutas, we cannot perceive. We can perceive only its gross form. We can perceive only the Sthula Bhutas. Trivitkarana explains about only these three elements. And it is very well explained in the Chandogya Upanishad in chapter 6, section 3, mantras 3 and 4. Later, the Acharyas and Rishis, they included the other two matters also, that is the Akasha and Vayu element also. They included these two elements along with this, and they formed and they were able to understand how these Sukshma Bhutas became Sthula Bhutas. And the process by which the 5 Sukshma Bhutas transformed to 5 Sthula Panchabhutas, that process is known as the Panchikarana. Adi Shankaracharya has written a book on Panchikarana, and what Panchikarana says is the Sthula Bhutas, that is the gross elements, or the combination of all these elements. And how they undergo this combination is, half the portion of Akasha, that is the space element, combines with 1/8 portion of Vayu, air element, 1/8 portion of Agni, 1/8 portion of Apa, water, and 1/8 portion of Prithvi to form gross Akasha element, which we now perceive as this open space. When it was in its pure form, in the subtlest form, we will not be able to perceive that Akasha. Only when it transforms into Sthula Akasha, we will be able to perceive it as this open space. Like this, half the portion of Vayu, air element, that is the Sukshma Vayu, combines with 1/8 portion of Akasha, 1/8 portion of Agni, 1/8 portion of Apa water element, 1/8 portion of Prithvi to form gross air element, which we can perceive by our senses. Like this, half the portion of Agni combines with 1/8 portion of Akasha, 1/8 portion of Vayu, 1/8 portion of Apa, pure water element, 1/8 portion of Prithvi to form the gross fire element, which we see as the fire. And half the portion of water element combines with 1/8 portion of Akasha, 1/8 portion of Vayu, 1/8 portion of Agni, 1/8 portion of Prithvi to form the gross water element. And likewise, half the portion of Prithvi combines with 1/8 portion of Akasha, 1/8 portion of Vayu, 1/8 portion of Agni, 1/8 portion of Apa to form the gross element Prithvi or gross element matter. So the 5 basic elements we perceive now is the combination of all these elements. It is not the pure fire element, or it is not the pure Akasha, it is not the pure Vayu or the other 2 elements. It is the combination of all the other elements with that element as the major part. If you take Agni, Agni is the major portion with all the other 4 elements in its definite portion. You can take it as 1/8 portion or 12.5 portion, whatever. But it is the combination of all the other elements. We cannot perceive the pure, subtle Buddhas. We can only perceive the gross Buddhas. So this is the process of Panchikarana. And now what happens is, this Stula Pancha Buddhas, they combine to form different Stula Shariras, that is the gross bodies, gross forms, which we see in this creation. Whatever form we see, whether it is the body of a human being or the animals or birds or whatever it is the combination of these 5 Pancha Buddhas, basic Stula Pancha Buddhas. There are 4 types of bodies. The first is the Jarayujam, that which takes birth from the womb, that is the human beings, animals. Next is the Antajam, that which takes birth from the egg, like the birds or reptiles. And next is the Udbhijam, that which splits the earth and comes out of it from the seed, that is the plants and trees, etc. And then last is the Svetajam, that which takes birth from the moisture, that is germs or bacteria and all those things. So these are the 4 types of creation in which the Pancha Buddhas, that is the gross Pancha Buddhas, combine to form different Shariras. These Shariras were inert. Then Brahman as Chitabhasa entered into the Sukshma Shariras of these Stula Shariras. These were gross bodies, but this has a mind. Brahman as Chitabhasa entered in these Stula Shariras, and thus the Stula Shariras, that is the gross bodies, became conscious. So Panchikaranam and Trivitkarana is the process by which the Sukshma Bhutas transform, they combine and transform to Stula Bhutas. In its subtlest form we cannot perceive, we can perceive only the gross Bhutas. So Trivitkarana is explained in the Chandogya Upanishad, and Panchikarana, Sri Adi Shankaracharya explains very clearly about Panchikarana. So this is how the creation proceeds. Thank you for watching.